Hi, my name is Sam Liver. I'm going to be your guidance counselor today. I wanted to thank you for meeting with me so that we can discuss your options for your future and we can make a plan for how to best go about that. You said you had 2 years until you graduate, so that's more than enough time to figure everything out. This is just going to be, we're going to go over some stuff today, but we can set out a real good plan in the future so you can be really well prepared for where you're going to go in your future. So let's jump right into it. I have an agenda for today. So what we're going to go over first, we're going to cover the differences in your salary, your income, uh, in different scenarios. If you have a lot of education or maybe not so much education, we're going to go over that, and then we're going to go over why is education important and how is your economic condition in relation to that. Why is that important? How does that affect that? That's a big thing in America today. Some of us aren't as um, economically advantaged as others, and that can be a big hurdle. And we'll go over that, how to prepare for that. And then we can go to how to minimize your cost of education. And that's a big one. There's a lot of resources out there that we'll go over in just a few short minutes. And that can be a big help in determining where the best place to go to school is and what's the best avenue to go down to get that cost down and get your future stable when you might have to pay back to student loans, which no one likes to do, but we're going to get right through that so we can make that manageable for your future. And then lastly, we're going to go through your options specifically for you. You said that you thought you could go directly into the workforce or to a 2 year or 4 year college, and there's a lot more options in that, but we're going to go over that in just a few short minutes here. To start, education and job training in your lifetime, it's a big deal. If you have more education, in all likeliness, you'll make a lot more money. Studies show that if you have a college education, you'll make upwards of $1 million more over your lifetime compared to someone without a college education. So that's definitely a big asset in your future, and it's definitely something that you should definitely want to pursue. But just keep in mind throughout while we go through this that going to university, a 4 year college is, or even a 2 year college is not the only option if you're not into that sort of thing. And we'll go over what exactly the best route is. But I have a little chart for you. Getting just a job right out of college, becoming a truck driver, make 60 grand a year. That's actually pretty good. It's one of the more popular jobs um, in America for those that don't have a college education. And it's actually not a bad job. You made 60 grand a year. This is a pretty good one for having no college education. And then lawyer. This is someone who has a ton of college education, years beyond just getting your undergraduate degree. So you're sinking a lot of money into getting that college education. See upwards of $200,000 on this side. Um, but your income is going to be 150 grand a year. That's a big increase in how much you earn every year. So that's a really good example of how getting a college education, getting a higher education can really improve how much income you make throughout your life and how that can be a big impact on your economic outlook. Moving on, different why education is important. Obviously, you can get a lot more income over your lifetime, but also you gain a lot more knowledge and experience through going through college and everything, and other higher education opportunities. And also, you gain connections. That's one of the biggest things in this world to get a job, get a good job, is you gain connections. And that's one of the most valuable parts about going to college. But your economic condition, for example. A lot of times, those with lower income might not be able to afford college, or the student loans might be too crazy for that, and that's really unfortunate. And we're trying to help fix that in America and help so that every person can afford a higher education if they so please to go through that route. Um, and but you know, every person has to understand, like, is this worth it? Is going to college and getting this degree worth it in terms of how much money you're going to spend? And for a lot of lower income families, unfortunately, that's very difficult. But as we're going to go over in just a few short minutes, there's a lot of resources out there that can really help with that cost. So it shouldn't be too much of a worry for you, especially just right now. But other things that can be a burden is, if you have a family member that you need to help out and earn an income for, that could prevent you from going to college because you might need to work right away, um, or other different factors. Say there's other ways that being economically disadvantaged might prevent you from going to college. But at the end of the day, your education is the most important investment you can ever make. And if you can, you definitely should try to pursue some sort of investment into yourself. And we'll go through that more. And so, for minimizing costs of college, obviously, college is super expensive. But one of your main questions was about you going to college for into your home state. And most states, if you go to a public university, you'll pay significantly less money in tuition because they offer in-state tuition reduced prices. So that could be a huge asset to you if you stay at home, and if your at-home college has a degree that you like and you want to pursue that, then it's a really good idea to go pursue that there because um, that the cost savings is going to be significant, and at the end of the day, you're going to come out with that same degree on your resume. So that should be very helpful for you if you want to pursue that route. And then also the other thing, which is not as popular and it's not as fun, but it's a big deal. If you want to minimize costs, you can stay at home and not go, especially if you're in your home state, and not go with your parents. You can stay at home with your parents, um, and that could save a lot of money on how much you um, spend in terms of housing and food at your college. It can save a ton of money on that end. So that's also a big saving opportunity. Also, the biggest thing is scholarships. And obviously, at your school, they'll offer you some scholarships if you are doing well or you're a certain group or if you're an athletic. But also, there's tons of scholarships available for free just on the internet. You can go and you can look up certain groups, certain things you're interested in. If you're from a certain background, you can a lot of times get some incentives or scholarships to go to college. And so just doing a little extra research, and there's a bunch of resources out there. You can apply for these scholarships, and you can get a ton of money just by applying because not everyone thinks of that, and that can be a huge advantage if you want to. You can get a lot of money from just independent sources that want to help people like you and invest in your future. And then also there's the grants. Obviously, there's FAFSA, which you should fill out every year, and that can give you federal aid from the Pell Grant, and that's a huge incentive. That's just free money from the government that you don't have to pay back ever, just like scholarships, and that can help you out a lot for paying for college. But also, there's the military ROTC, which will pay for your college if you go into the military afterwards. So that's definitely something that you should think about. If you ever thought the military might be something on your horizon, you can get your college entirely paid for if you do military ROTC, which can be a huge benefit, not only now in saving, but afterwards. You can get a great degree for no money. And with the experience of the military, you can go into the private sector and make a ton of money with that experience. But then moving on to the last one, your options. So if you're, in my opinion, if you're not exactly certain what you want to do for college, that's totally okay. Nobody expects you to know that right away. But and you have years until you need almost 2 years until you graduate and need to figure out what you might want to do for a major in college. But in my opinion, it's not worth it to apply to a fancy four-year university, especially one that's out of state, if you have absolutely no idea what you want to do as a career or as a major. I would look into community college in case so you can save some money while you figure out what exactly you want to do, and then you can transfer to whatever four-year university you want to complete that degree. Or you can even take a gap year. Say you don't even know what you want to do. You can take a gap year. You can figure that out. You can get into the workforce. You can get some experience. You can make some connections with people and see where you want to go from there if you want to get more education afterwards. But then also, obviously, I just talked about the military, but also there's apprenticeships, which nobody really thinks about this anymore, and it's really important. I want to stress this. You can go and you get an apprenticeship, or you can become a tradesman. You can make a bunch of money without even going to college or anything, just by starting your own business or learning under someone on how to do, say, plumbing or electrical or HVAC. There's a bunch of different industries out there that you can make a ton of money in, and not many people realize this. If you're not too fond of, going to college and doing all that extra desk work, if you're not too akin to that. But there's a ton of options, and you have a ton of time. And so I thank you for meeting with me today, but why don't we set up a meeting in the future so we can really hammer out where exactly you want to go for college and what you want to do, and we can figure out exactly what plan you want to take. So thank you.